Welcome to Lyrical Alchemy, where we dissect the poetic and philosophical roots of music. I'm Kourt Henson, the voice behind Levinia, and your favorite English teacher. And today we are diving into the lyrical darkness of Lavinia's Desperate Souls. How do I know about this song? Well, let me think, guys. I wrote the damn thing. We're diving into it. Let's go. This track is deeply inspired by Shakespeare's Macbeth, a tale of ambition, fate, and psychological collapse. So let's explore how the bard's tragedy bleeds into every line of this song. But first, let's do a quick summary. Macbeth is a tragedy by William Shakespeare that follows a Scottish general whose ambition is ignited by a prophecy from three witches. Encouraged by his wife, Macbeth murders the king, King Duncan, in order to seize the throne. But his guilt and paranoia soon consumes him, and he descends into tyranny and madness, and he commits more and more atrocities to secure his power. Meanwhile, opposition grows, and Macbeth becomes increasingly isolated and delusional. Ultimately, he is defeated and killed, fulfilling the prophecy and restoring order to Scotland. So, a fun fact about Macbeth. Macbeth, written by Shakespeare, was actually based on a real dude named Macbeth. Macbeth was a real ruler of Scotland. Now, we do not know if he was tyrannical or not. We don't know much about him, but we do know he was a real person. I actually don't think he was a bad person. I think he was just the king. And we do know that Shakespeare liked to write his plays to humor the current king and queen of England. And this was particularly written for King James, who's a descendant of one of the characters, Banquo. So this is kind of based on history here. Anyways, I'm getting ahead of myself and I'm getting onto the nerdy side of my kind of job, so I apologize. But let's dive into Lavinia's side, unknown name. In fact, it is a play that has a curse surrounding it. It also is a well-known play that you probably read in high school yourself, or even acted in for that matter. There are many adaptations of Macbeth. Many of them are phenomenal. I like the one with Patrick Stewart, and that's the one where the witches are insanely creepy and kind of low-key freak me out when they're doing the double toil and trouble bit. But that's not the point. So in Macbeth, Shakespeare crafts a world where ambition is a curse and fate is a trap. That's what makes it so intriguing. The three witches that Macbeth comes across in the start of the play plant the seed. They say, and I quote, "All hail Macbeth, hail to thee, Thane Glamis. All hail Macbeth, hail to thee, Thane Cawdor, and all hail Macbeth, that shalt be king hereafter." This is a prophecy that they greet Macbeth with when he comes in and meets them in the woods. And this prophecy awakens a hunger in Macbeth, a hunger that mirrors the force in Desperate Souls, one I tried to mirror myself. May have done a decent job. I don't know. You guys can decide. But let's break down the lyrics and connect them to the play, shall we? So I start the song off with, he grasps on desperate souls, watching, learning, searching, seizing. This ties into the witch's influence. It's subtle, it's patient, it's predatory, and it's like fate itself. They don't act directly, but they observe and they manipulate. It's like a puppet. There's a paradox there that they quote and say, fair is foul and foul is fair. And even Macbeth acknowledges the paradox of their presence by saying, so foul and fair a day I have not seen. And that paradox is that beautiful and terrible presence that they're embodying at that point. The next lyric, anger rises, vengeance advises. This is a little bit fast forwarding later after Macbeth finds out that he is to be king. And he tells his wife about it, and she decides that she wants him to be king. So she decides to influence him. And this is her voice urging Macbeth to act. And she weaponizes his pride and his pain, dehumanizes him, emasculates him. And she's turning his emotion into action, inspiring him to move forward. My next lyric I wrote was, his violence is masked by silence. This is a representation of Macbeth's guilt internalized. And this is after he kills Duncan, and where he says, methought I heard a voice cry, sleep no more. Macbeth does murder, sleep. His silence becomes a prison, and the violence is done, but the echoes remain. My next lyric is baptized your thoughts in anger in the second verse. His plan is true, but despised by all. Macbeth's transformation is complete. He is the king, but he is hated. This is a little bit later on. This is in Act 3. He states this, I am in blood. Stepped in so far, should I wade no more. Returning were as tedious as go air. He's baptized in his blood, and there's no redemption for him. I then go on to say, take control of all you know, he's here to stay. That's actually the closing line of the song. And I had our former bass player, Casey Artis, scream that. He's a phenomenal musician. Guys, go check him out. Sorry, little side note there. He's epic. Miss you, Casey. Hope you well, dude. That is the moment of surrender. So Macbeth no longer questions the darkness. He, in fact, embraces it. He's very much not hesitating anymore. He's just acting upon the dark that he feels inside. So those were kind of the tie into the lyrics that specifically are from Macbeth. The rest of it, I am going to be honest with y'all, I was a total weeb at one point in my life, and I also was inspired by the manga Black Butler. So that also kind of had a little role to play too. I'm very embarrassed to admit that, but that's just how it is. All right. Let's dive into the literary devices in the lyrics, shall we? So the lyrics of Desperate Souls uses several literary devices to mirror Shakespeare's style and themes. We use personification. The darkness is given agency. He grasps. He's here to stay. Like the witches, it becomes a character watching you. You feel like the eyes are all on you. The other literary device is anaphora. There's a lot of repetition of verbs like watching, learning, searching, seizing. It builds tension and rhythm. It echoes the witch's chant-like speech. The next one is allusion. So the song is a modern allusion to Macbeth, and it draws on its imagery and emotional arc. And there's also a little bit of juxtaposition here. Phrases like violence masked by silence reflects the duality of Macbeth's public claim and private torment until it eats him up inside and it ultimately leads to his defeat. So Shakespeare's Macbeth is more than a tragedy. It's psychological horror in my mind. And Desperate Souls is our musical tribute to that descent. It's about that moment, that ambition that becomes obsession, and the soul becomes a battlefield. That constant back and forth, that duality. I think maybe we should do push and pull next. What is your favorite line from Macbeth? Or your favorite lyric from Desperate Souls? Drop it in the comments. And if you like how you're seeing how literature and metal can collide, hit that like button and subscribe for more.